Wow. Okay. Now everybody's asking you, what's your favorite composers? Yeah. Well, well, I mean, as far as film composers. Now we know musician wise, Stevie Wonder was a huge influence to you. Um,
Mhm.
but as far as us film composers themselves, um, were you inspired by anyone, or was it better for you not to be inspired by anyone? That way you could
Yeah,
have
it's
your
it.
own. That way you can have your
Yeah,
own.
absolutely. It's a good question. We all learn from what others have done in the past, had done in the past. But uh, you have to develop your own voice. But I have my heart, with many film composers like James Horner, Thomas Newman, uh, John Williams, of course. Which other one can I tell you? Uh, James Newton Howard, he's really great. Um, also,
I have one question for you, Mariano.
yeah,
I have one
yeah.
question for you. You mentioned someone in there that it actually he actually used to be my very favorite composer. You know, and he used to be my favorite. It's like remember he mentioned composers. He used to be my favorite
Who?
until
Who,
I
sir?
started watching. This composer used to be my favorite composer, but I started noticing a really uncomfortable thing in his scores. He plagiarized himself to death. He copied himself over and over and over.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was one of the questions I was going to ask you. You know who I'm talking about, don't you?
yeah. There's a few composers that really work for the film, and other composers, it's like they make their own album.
Yeah.
So I try to do a bit of both, because you have to have your own voice, but you have to serve the story and serve the film. But also it's tricky because, for example, I was listening to a TED talk. The TED
Yeah.
talks
Yes.
uh, by James Horner, and he said he couldn't use, by the contract he signed, he couldn't use stuff from other movies, but we are talking just about language, orchestrations, nothing similar to other movies he has done.
But he
And
was the worst at that. You knew
yeah,
who I was
yeah, and
talking about. You knew I was talking about James Horner. I like that because he just I loved his early stuff, but he just started repeating himself. I
yeah,
was just like
because
amazed by that.
but I think they build their trademark, and they tried, to show that, because they want to their music to be recognized. It's a tricky thing, because, as I told you, you have to serve the story, and you have to serve the film, but at some point you want to express yourself. And for example, it happened to me a few months ago. I write a music for a western, and afterwards I write the music for another western. And the director of the previous one told me, "Hey, Mariano, is that your music? Because it's like the music you wrote for my film." And I said, "It's just me. Sorry, because that's my sound. That's my sound. It's not on purpose, but
No,
that's
that's got to be. See, to me, that's why. To me, it's like film composing. That's got to be the hardest music to create. It's got to be the hardest because there's so many out there. I mean, you can't. How do you even keep it? How do you even keep it separated? Um, let me catch up here in the chat here. Oh, I got a bot here. Hold on. Let me. We've been getting bots lately. Hold on. Okay. Let me go back up real quick. John Barry had sort of repeated himself in some of his film scores. Kubrick also mentions that he agrees Horner repeated himself. Let's see.
that's so cruel. That's so cruel because James Horner, he was such a genius.
I
I would
agree.
like to sound, one
I
percent of his music in my music, but the audience, they are so sincere. you know.
I,
But
I agree. I'm
there's
not. Believe me,
there's a
Mario. I
lot
am
of
not harsh.
work.
I still love James Horner's music. I do.
Yeah,
And I'm not disrespected in any means. I hope I
but
we're not. We all
yeah,
love
but
him.
absolutely. But I understand also what the audience is saying, because they don't want the music to repeat over and over again, or the style. But for that composer was so hard to find his own voice, you know.
Yeah.
So
Got to
you
talk
have
to him.
to understand both sides. Yeah,
Yeah. It is a very crowded field. I mean, it's crowded. It's crowded. I mean, as far as American composers go, it's crowded here, but it's top heavy. You know, it's just like a few.
yeah,
There's a. I mean, you're down in Argentina. I think it's pretty safe to say, just on based on where we're at
yeah,
now,
yeah.
talking to
This
you,
is a
you are
yeah.
like.
This is
What do you think?
uh,
Do you think it's safe to? Do you think it's safe to say that you're like the John Williams of Argentina film composing? I mean, you are the top dog in
no,
Argentina.
no, no, no. I'm not. I'm
Really?
not. I am a very, very recognized composer here, but not at all. I do a lot of TV work here for one of the main TV channels, along a big team, because also my sons work at my studio, and we collaborate with each other. Um, but yeah, I have done a few things here, but
A few.
it's not so comfortable to me to talk about
So,
myself about
a
that. But
few.
yeah, yeah, I have
I
done.
saw you. I saw
I
your
go with.
database page.
Okay, I'm going to be very, very brief. I have done over 60 TV shows here in Argentina, including news TV shows and stuff, many TV series, and I have done over 60 films in the US. So I'm
You're
a
being
good
so modest.
experience.
You're being
Yeah,
so modest. You're being so modest. You're. I looked at your.
it's work.
I looked at your
I
work on the database page. Your line of credits are so flippin' incredible. I just am blown away by what I saw. I mean,
oh,
you
thank
have
you.
made you have dozens of wins. Your music has won dozens of awards. You know, just amazing talent. I mean, you you can't sell yourself short. Not here. We're not letting you sell yourself short. I think you're freaking amazing.
Oh,
I
thank you.
no. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Chat's popping tonight. I really love this. Um, let's see. They're talking about the different scores, you know, for different films. Mentioning Howard Shore, who did Lord of the Rings. John
Yeah,
Barry.
Howard Shore, absolutely, absolutely, another
Yeah,
hero.
he was really strong. Um, let's see. Let's see. Okay. They're still talking about James Horner repeating himself. That happens. You know that happened. We're not going to comment on that. Your wife is mentioning the show on Netflix. Um,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you, Silvina.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
because she's my studio manager. She's into everything.
no, that
So
you know
yeah,
what?
yeah,
You're only as strong as your wife is. That's the rule of the world.
absolutely,
A man is
absolutely,
only as strong as his wife. You know, without that, a man is just sort of like swimming out there hoping for a life raft.
for
Uh,
sure,
uh,
for sure. I
yeah,
I couldn't, I couldn't do all this without her. I always tell her this.
I love that. I mean, I think a husband and wife team, they're unbreakable. You know, they really are.
Absolutely,
Uh,
yeah,
so you here you are. You're 25 years old. You walk inside there, and they're giving you your first crack at commercials, and you got
yeah,
20 seconds to make a story to connect the story. That has
yeah.
got to be so much pressure. But who's the pressure on more? Is it the pressure on the filmmaker, or is the pressure on you? Because
Uh, I don't think it has a pressure. It's a puzzle. You have to take out all your shit. Because we musicians, we have, I have this chord which is a great chord. I have this scale which is a great scale. Okay, throw that all away and begin making music, because music it's not about that. You have to, to take all the shit away, and just focus, on having a good melody, and tell the story. So those 20 seconds, yeah, they were a challenge to me, but they also helped me to learn a lot, really a lot, because all the all this kind of selfish thing about music, about how much do you know, how much you can play, it's nothing when it comes to writing for something else. Because in music, for film, every chord is a feeling. You know, you have to reflect a feeling with everything you are writing. So, to tell you the truth, it was like it kind of organized me as a composer to have a certain amount of time to develop an idea. You
Now,
have to be synthetic. You have to be really, really bold with what you're writing.
um, well, I guess, when you're working on a project, let's see here real quick. Yep, okay, they're still talking among themselves. Great. Thank you guys for keeping the chat hot. This is awesome. Uh, Keep it coming. If you have questions, I'll get to the questions. But I love the fact you guys are talking among yourselves. That's awesome. I put Mariano's movie database page up there. There's a link up there. So if you want to see what I was talking about earlier about him being a master, you're more than free to take a look at that. Um, but the thing here's the thing I was going to ask you is, before you're in your studio, you're making your music, you're your own boss. You're sitting there, you can create your
Yeah,
own music, you can
yeah,
overdub it, you can try
yeah.
different but now when you start working for commercial, or a film project, now you're no longer working just by yourself. Now you got to work with not only a director, but now you have to work with an editor. So now that makes it just that much more interesting, because you're no longer 100% your own boss. Now you got
Absolutely.
to work with the team.
Teamwork. That's the second thing I learned. When you work producing music for film, for a commercial, you are just a small part of a very, very large chain. So if you miss a deadline, you are making everybody's work go down the drain. So
Mm.
you have to keep your agenda. There's a phrase that Danny Elfman, that's another hero to me. Danny Elfman, I really love his
Okay. Yeah.
music. He said, um, the schedule, you must deliver on time. That's the number one command. It's funny also. It's great, that phrase. You have to deliver on time. That's the first thing, you have to really achieve when you work for the industry. Because maybe you are writing a great score, but if you don't deliver on time, you are going to have a very, very big problem, because they're waiting for you. The editor is waiting for you, the colorist is waiting for you. And the
Yeah.
moment that a composer enters into the production uh, timeline, it's also like Danny Elfman says, it's like, landing with a parachute in the middle of a war. Everyone is, hey, watch out, something like that,
Right.
because everybody's rushing. They have to meet the deadline. Maybe they're really behind the schedule. So you have to really, it's like getting in a train, which is a moment. You have to catch and, try to come up with things very, very fast. So I would say the craft, building your craft, it's the main thing, because that's the only thing that's going to save you in that kind of situations. That's
It's pretty.
something I really learned
You think it's
working on
it's
TV.
pretty it's pretty important. Like, we talk about with, as far as filmmaking goes. We mentioned how some directors, it's really important that they do short films first, so they can learn their craft. And to
Yeah,
me,
absolutely.
it almost seems like short films are perfect for a film composer, a young film composer just getting into it, because
Yeah,
you also are learning that too. Like, To me,
Yeah,
I would like to learn how to do a film composer on a short film. I think a commercial would just be like, I don't know, that would probably drive me nuts, because
yeah,
I know it's only 30 seconds, but that 30 seconds you're being asked to put everything to, like that music's got
yeah.
to meet, that's so hard. That just
And
drives me crazy.
yeah,
But
and there's also another challenge, which is the temp track. The temp track is something. It's a short music cue that the director used as a guide, to for the editing. And there's maybe he or she spent days editing with that temp track, which is going to throw to the trash once I have my score done. But he's got temp love because they fall in love with the temp track. So once you enter into writing for a film, they used to say, "Can you get closer to the temp track?" And many times I said, "Okay." And afterward, we're going to jail. Okay, that's okay for you because
because you
we're
played it
going to
right. Yeah.
travel. Yeah, and that's another challenge. You have to compete with the 10 track and you have
Right.
to deliver on time and blah blah blah. So it's something maybe today I'm very used to because it's a guide. Because
Right.
a film score is something, as many other art disciplines, it's something that could be subliminal for you and for me, because maybe something you like, I will not like it, and vice versa, right? So another challenge is to get in the same page with the director, because maybe I want to write something for a scene, but the director wants another thing. So you have
Mm.
to write maybe two to three alternatives, so we can discuss and have another side of the coin to
Sure.
see another alternative. It sounds stressful, but it's really exciting to
It's gotta
me,
be
and
fun.
it's really
With someone like
fun,
you, it's gotta be
absolutely
fun.
fun.